Alison, I'm just back from New York, where I joined yourself and your colleagues who launched the Tourism Ireland marketing plans for 2026 in the US. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, first of all, Owen, it was great to have you with us. And as you said, we launched our plans in New York last week. We were really thrilled to have Minister Burke with us. Obviously, tourism has gone into an economic portfolio. And it was our opportunity really to showcase our ambitious plans to more than 100 travel, trade and media partners at a critical, start of the year.
Yeah, and there was great buzz and excitement and a great positivity, I thought, in the room. And we're starting in 2026 from a pretty strong place, aren't we? Like tourism performed well from North America into Ireland last year.
Absolutely. So if we look at last year, 1.3 million Americans visited Ireland. So that was actually 7% up on 2024. We don't have revenue figures yet. So we're actually going into 2026 with strong momentum. And as we talked about last week, the only thing that is certain is uncertainty. But I think at the moment we have great plans and there's great positivity coming from the industry. The desire to travel amongst Americans based on our latest research is still there. Yes, there's some uncertainty out there, but people are prioritizing travel. And at this point in time, we'd certainly be we'd be cautiously optimistic that we're going to continue to see growth momentum into 2026.
Yeah, and all the trade partners, the US trade partners that were there last week, were all quite positive, as were the airlines. Bill Byrne from Aer Lingus was there and speaking very bullishly about air access and load factors for the year ahead.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've seen significant growth over the last number of years, and to a large extent that has been driven by significant increase in air access. So we have two new gateways coming on stream in 2026, Raleigh-Durham and Pittsburgh flying to Dublin, and some expanded capacity going into Shannon. So the fundamentals are there in terms of Ireland has never been easier to get to. Our job, obviously, at Tourism Ireland is to inspire visitors, to put Ireland on their consideration set. We want to create that desirability, and we launched a new campaign which we shared with our industry last week. Ireland Goes Beyond. It's a very competitive market out there, so it's really important that we reach people at the right time with the right message and the right platform. And I think the new campaign that we have is going to really help us do that. I mean, we need to create that standout, and it's a campaign that really showcases how the island of Ireland goes beyond expectations as a place to connect, as a place to connect people with people, place and scenery. It's a place that not only delivers on the scenery front, but it also offers a great welcome. So we're very optimistic that campaign is going to give us that standout that we need, because it is competitive, and we know that the demand is there, but we have to obviously make sure we win our share of that business.
Yeah, and it's a great campaign. As you say, you launched it last week, and it got, even the room were sort of clapping about the quality of it. You mentioned the air access, and I think there's 20 odd gateways now in the States and maybe 25 plus North America, and you have to stretch your marketing dollar nearly across all those gateways, don't you? It's a challenge, but you're covering all forms of marketing, digital and traditional, and trying to cover the whole geographic map as well.
Absolutely. I suppose when we're looking at where we sort of invest our dollars, first of all, we look at, where is our target audience located? So we're targeting the enriched explorers, and 81% of our target audience in the US live in 20 states. So typically they're living in states where we do have direct air access. So that's really guides our investment kind of decisions. From the marketing perspective, obviously, we're looking to build consumer demand in both those existing and new gateways. And I think one thing coming out of the new corporate plan is we have received some additional funding to build diversification into that plan. So there's been a lot of talk about market diversification, but Tourism Ireland is committed to investing more in the United States, because if you think about it, when a new route like Raleigh-Durham opens up, the catchment to that area is about 11 million. So it's almost like opening up a small European country. So the opportunities for us to diversify within the US, to build demand in new markets and new gateways and in new cities where we feel there is potential to grow demand, where into the future we may end up with another direct service. So it is about deepening and defending our investment in the United States. It's such an important market for Irish tourism. As you know, Owen, Americans stay longer, they spend more, and we're just trying to attract more of those value-adding tourists. So visitors that want to see more, do more, also more open to traveling year round, and also certainly into the off season, but also visitors that want to get under the skin of a destination, want to get out into the regions. So that's our focus. And again, we have been successful in securing some additional budget to do that this year.
Yeah, and talking about additional budget, it was great that the Minister for Tourism, the Minister for Enterprise, Tourism and Employment, Peter Burke, was there last week, so he could himself and a lot of his senior officials could see firsthand the impact of the marketing dollar in the States, and I suppose how well disposed the travel trade and various kind of consumer channels are to Ireland as a holiday destination.
Yes, I mean, we put sort of partnership obviously at the heart of our marketing program. So working with the airlines to make sure we support and sustain that existing demand to drive sales, working with the tour operators, drive that incremental business is at the heart of what we do. We launched obviously a new travel trade program. We have an expanded program of B2B platforms, including more opportunities for the Irish industry and market trade to work with us to win more luxury business. Also, we've rebooted our affinity group travel strategy. So we'll be targeting groups in the faith-based, music, educational sectors, because those visitors tend to travel in the off season and they do get out into the regions. So it's all about creating commercial impact. I mean, we really want to make sure that everything we do is designed to win value-added visitors, but also to deliver business and revenue to the island of Ireland, support those the economies, but also support local businesses and communities. So that's really the lens within which we view all of our activity, and we look forward to delivering as much impact as we can in 2026.
And that impact is so important. I think one of the data points we discussed last week was that North America, which I know is US and Canada, accounts for something like a third of the whole Irish tourism economy. So it's that important.
It is. Last year, it represented 34% of revenue. So we know how important it is. And also, when we look at the profile of visitors coming from the United States, more than 2/3 of them are holidaymakers. So when they arrive on the island of Ireland, they are spending in serviced accommodation. They like to invest in unique and authentic experiences. And I think increasingly consumers, and particularly our enriched explorers, for whom exploration is a key motivator. They want to get to new places. They want to explore our great landscape and culture. They want to connect with people, but they also want to spend time with friends and family. But they want to do it in a way that is perhaps custom curated for their particular needs. And I think that's where Ireland offers great opportunities. It also allows us to elevate the brand. So to communicate why Ireland really is worth that visit. So yes, it's so important. And as we said last week, yes, there's uncertainty in the marketplace, but I think what's incumbent upon us at Tourism Ireland, and indeed working in partnership with our industry, is just to make sure that our plans remain as flexible as possible. And because we do invest across so many digital and social channels, that gives us that ability to be nimble. We can flex our plans according to the environment.
Yeah, and the sentiment towards Ireland, that in the market research that you carry out, the sentiment to Ireland is still very positive, isn't it?
It is very positive, absolutely. And I think, that's a really obviously a good premise from which to start our marketing. But nevertheless, it's very competitive. Americans love to travel to Europe, and it's important that we win our share of that US outbound market. But Ireland has, a lot of goodwill towards Ireland. It's a destination that Americans love. And I think there's a lot of great things happening this year. I mean, we've talked about our main campaigns, but we have two big tentpole events, St. Patrick's Day and Halloween. So we will continue to integrate all of the campaigns and messaging around our Ireland Goes Beyond campaign. And then in May, we will be putting a bigger focus back on slow tourism. We'll be building on our Ireland Unrushed campaign. So Tourism Ireland and the industry will be out investing in the market pretty much year round. And I think that's really important that we have a year round presence. And that's going to help us build that demand and inspire demand in key markets across the country.
Yeah, great. And listen, let's hope the Americans keep coming in their droves. Alison, thank you to you and your colleagues for all the hard work that you do on our behalf.
Thank you very much. We'll do our best. Thank you.